Good morning. This is just a short follow-up to yesterday's video about selvages and why you might want to save them and how you can use them. Now, you probably have found a few by now and would like to start making something. So let's give it a few hints on how to put these together. Now, as I said the other day, I used muslin for the backing. You can use white cotton, but it's a little thicker, and if you have seam to seam off the two layers, it might get a little bit thick. So the muslin is a thinner and easier to work with. You can make any size you want. You could cut a fat quarter out of muslin or a half yard, or I just cut the 6-inch square, and work with whatever size you've cut out. And if you want a 6-inch square, then go with it. If you want something larger or don't know yet what you would like to make a bigger piece, and then you can cut it down or cut whatever design you want. Once you get it together like this, you treat it like a piece of fabric. So it's easy to work with once you have things in place. Now, you start at the bottom, and it could be either at the diagonal or horizontal. So you start at the bottom. You only need a tiny piece for here, so those little pieces that you might be tempted to throw away, keep them because you can use them for the smaller corners. So about 1/8 of an inch from the very bottom. You don't need a lot of a seam. You're not going to be pulling on it once it's on the fabric. The seam is not going to be opened or hard to work with. So start about 1/8 of an inch from the bottom. Put the next piece on, and you decide the width you want. You decide how much of the fabric you want shown, and so 1/8 of an inch from the bottom of it. Now, this one, the second one I used, happened to have a little bit of a fringe, and so therefore I would go up about 1/4 of an inch. You don't want to be sewing down that fringe because, of course, you're not going to get the fabric all included. So if you have a bit of, not fringe, fraying, if you have a bit of frayed fabric, then I would go up a little bit higher, almost 1/4 of an inch, to make sure you have your fabric caught and not just the fray part. You decide as you go up what colors you'd like to use, and make sure when you go set your piece on before you start to sew, make sure that it's long enough to cover the entire piece of fabric below, the entire muslin underneath. Now, what are you going to do with it? Well, you could, as I said the other day, I think I would make this into a pot holder. I could make it, I could keep going and add on and keep making 6-inch blocks and sew them together and end up with a placemat. Put 2 or 3 together for a wide front of an apron pocket, or this one I've already done. This could be an apron pocket. It could be a pocket on a tote. An eyeglass case, if you remember, you're treating it like a fabric. You want to put your a lining fabric inside there, but an eyeglass tote, it's different and unique. And you can whatever you would want to do. You can go as small as the eyeglass case to as large as a tote, and they're beautiful. My friend made one. It's just gorgeous. And I saw a picture of a lady wearing a shirtwaist dress with a full skirt, and it's completely made out of selvages. I don't think I would go that far, but it just showed what it can be used for. Now, every time I would sew another selvage on, I would press it, only because it makes it nice and neat as you go along, and you end up with your product is finished, and you really don't have to press very much after you sew it. Use a smaller stitch. Remember, these edges are all going to be open here, so use a smaller stitch to make sure that it catches. So that's all for today. I just wanted to drop in and give you a little bit more information on selvages, and what you can use them for and how to go about using them. Bye for now.